Well, hello and welcome to another wonderful cruise exclusive coming to you live from our Portsmouth studios. Today I'm going to be chatting to Francis Riley, who is the Vice President of Norwegian Cruise Lines. Francis, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Keith. Nice to meet you.
And you, and thank you for joining us in our little studio. You had a good journey here, I believe.
Yeah, no, it's been great.
Very quickly, Norwegian Cruise Lines, it gives a very set image, doesn't it, I suppose, when you say that. What's the background behind that?
Well, actually, no, it's a good question because Norwegian Cruise Lines, we're a company that's been going since 1966 when we were really a company that grew out of Norway, hence the name Norwegian Cruise Lines. So our roots and our traditions are really in Scandinavia. A lot of our officers, our striped officers on all of our ships, tend to be Scandinavian, mainly Norwegian, and that's where the company really grew and the tradition of the company grew. And now, 40-something years on, we're now, a company based in Miami. We're an international cruise line with a brand of Norwegian Cruise Line. is actually a pretty well-known brand in North America. Maybe a little less well-known in the UK, behind more of the leading UK brands. But regardless, an international brand. We're delighted and very strong roots in Norway.
And a very exciting brand as well. I mean, whenever I'm on the show, I'm always, and we feature cruises from Norwegian Cruise Lines. We always talk about the fun, the excitement, the innovation that the Norwegian Cruise Lines bring to the industry. What got you involved with Norwegian Cruise Lines? What brought you into this particular role?
Well, I'm one of these people. I think I've been lucky in life. From very early stages, even leaving school, I knew I wanted to get into the travel industry. It was one of those things about, when you see your parents traveling and your friends traveling, you're thinking, hey, I really like that idea. So I was fortunate. I spent a lot of time at college, and I ended up joining Thomas Cook 26 years ago, actually, as a graduate trainee. And then my first cruise experience, I remember sat there on the counter, and a customer walked into the branch that I was working in, and it was a customer who wanted to book a round the world cruise.
Right.
So we're going back, 20-something years, and so that was my first introduction. And I realised then, when you're researching all of that actually cruise wasn't a bad thing to be in. And then over the years, I spent time in travel, doing various different things. And then 10 years ago, an opportunity to join Norwegian Cruise Line was presented, and I jumped at it, and it's been a fantastic 10 years in the industry. Fastest growing industry in travel has been cruise, and it's just very exciting. It's an industry that's building lots of exciting new ships, and we're part of that. Lots of innovation. You talked about Norwegian Cruise Lines in terms of innovation. We pride ourselves in what we do on innovation. Not just on the ships, but we were, for example, the first cruise line to have a private island in the Caribbean, first cruise line to sail year-round out of New York or Seattle. We have a unique product in Hawaii. Maybe we talk about that later. We're the only cruise line that sails exclusively in Hawaii without having to do an international port of call. So a lot of fun things, and the industry in the last 10 years has moved on so rapidly that we're appealing to a lot new different type of customers, and I think that comes from the ships and the way that we build them. So it's a really exciting time for cruise.
Okay, we're talking new ships, and I believe you're not just content with having released these two superliners in the last year or so. You've now also got new developments, new plans. You've got a ship coming out next year, and then another one in 2017, am I right?
So we've got, so in 2015, on the back of Breakaway and Getaway, we've got two new ships coming, the Norwegian Escape, right, which is actually then going to be the biggest ship in the fleet. It's 163,000 tons. It's 4,200 customer lower berths. So it's a big ship.
Built on the same spec as Getaway and Breakaway?
Yeah, very much. It's slightly bigger, which gives us more options on the entertainment and the dining again. And we haven't released anything specifically about that, so there's nothing I can actually tell your viewers today, unfortunately. But we will keep with our tradition of innovation. That's something that you can rest assured on. So these two new big ships are coming. The Escape will come actually into Southampton, and we'll do a transatlantic from Southampton, and will be based in Miami. So it will be the sister ship to the Getaway that's already in Miami year-round, and we're going to put the Escape in Miami year-round. So we'll do a combination of Eastern and Western Caribbean cruises year-round out of Miami. And
not just that, though, that I believe the Norwegian Epic also is coming over to Barcelona, isn't it?
Yeah, so we have the Epic in the summer based in Europe out of Barcelona doing 7-night Western Mediterranean cruises. And in 2015, the Epic will stay in the winter. So another exciting announcement from Norwegian Cruise Line is that we will have the biggest and, in my opinion, the best ship sailing the Mediterranean in the summer, and it will be doing staying out of Barcelona in the winter. So a combination of 10-night Canary cruises with all of that innovation that I've been talking about will be available to our customers in the winter, actually in the Canaries, and then a combination of 12 nights and 11-night Western Mediterranean cruises. So a combination of one sailing 10-night Canaries, one sailing Western. So a great opportunity for customers to experience
And
something.
she's coming to Southampton as well, isn't she?
Yes, so I'm very excited about
Yeah.
that. So on the 20th of September, the ship will leave Barcelona and will come to Southampton on a 6-night sailing. So we'll be able to welcome home the Epic to the UK, and she
This
hasn't
the first
been.
time she'd be.
Well, first time since we launched the ship in 2010 that she'll be
Right.
back in Southampton.
Okay.
So a great opportunity for our UK customers to go to Barcelona and then sail back to Southampton. And then I think it's 11th of October next year we'll be sailing, because we're going to do a dry dock in between.
Okay.
So we're going to be renovating the ship and maybe adding a few things that are going to be more suited for the European customers for the winter product. So
Okay.
watch this space, but I think there are some exciting developments that are going to come on there. And then we'll sail the ship out of Southampton on October the 11th on a 7-night sailing back to Barcelona. So 2 great opportunities for the UK customers to experience freestyle cruising on the Norwegian Epic.
Quite incredible that the ship was only built in 2010 and yet you're already bringing it in for an extensive refurb in 2014. It just goes to show how much money and how much time and effort you're pouring into your fleet. And I believe you've got one of the youngest kind of fleets at sea, haven't you? Because your ships, most of your ships are very, very young and modern and
when you look at the average age of our fleet, we've got 13 ships in the fleet currently, and when we add the Norwegian Escape and then the Norwegian Bliss in 2017, we'll take the fleet to 15 ships, and all of those 15 ships have an average age then across the fleet is going to be one of the youngest in the cruise industry. Right. And that's important because I think a lot of customers that are looking to cruise are looking for these innovative big new ships that provide a lot of the activities and the kids clubs. And like I said to you, we have the water slides, we have the ropes part, we have this thing called the plank, which is, you'd probably be too scared to do it, to be honest.
Well,
to walk across it. You are harnessed in, let me add, you are harnessed in, and it takes a photograph of you, and you're 8 feet over the side of the ship. So it's just a fun experience. So a lot of people are looking to make sure that the hardware, so to say, is actually very, very new, very, very modern, which is important again when you're talking to customers that may not have cruised before, or even those customers that have cruised before but maybe are moving from more of an older traditional type ship and are looking for something a little different.